So, I'm gonna tell you guys a story. A few weeks ago, I got into an argument at Bojangles. So I was with a couple of friends at Bojangles, and conversation came around to talking about Disney movies. Now, I am paraphrasing here because I don't remember what was said verbatim. But we were talking about Moana, and my friend said that he knew a dad that cried during Moana. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. But then he started talking about how weird it was that he cried. I asked why he thought it was weird without disclosing that I also cried during Moana. He said it was weird because it's a movie for kids. I asked him why it was just a movie for kids. He said because it was animated. Then I brought up how he's a big fan of Avatar: The Last Airbender, and that's animated. He admitted that he is a big fan of the show, but that he loves it even though it's a kids show. I asked him why every animated movie or TV show is for kids. And he told me that animation is a genre that's made specifically for kids. And that's when it happened. I looked him dead in the eyes, and I said, I spoke to a few people about animation after this to get their opinion. To my surprise, I found that it's really common for people to think of animation as a genre. But as I previously stated in the title graphic, it is not. Merriam-Webster defines genre as a category of artistic, musical, or literary composition characterized by a particular style, form, or content. Okay, so let's look at two films that belong to the same genre. Let's go with Furious 7 and G.I. Joe Retaliation. These both fall under the action-adventure genre and favor each other more than a little bit. They both have big, explosive, ridiculous action scenes, colorful, fun characters. They both feature a group of good guys having to fight against a much larger threat than they realized. Oh, and also they both have Dwayne Johnson in them. Now, there are obviously things that are unique to each of those movies, but the broad ideas I noted are shared with both, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. If you go to a big summer action-adventure movie, these are things you would more likely than not expect to see, and would probably be disappointed if you didn't. I mean, I know that I love huge explosions, fun characters, and especially Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. These are just two films that share a genre. Now let's take a look at two animated projects, Fantastic Mr. Fox and BoJack Horseman. Fantastic Mr. Fox is a stop-motion animated Wes Anderson movie that follows Mr. Fox as he returns to a life of thievery despite a promise to his wife and inadvertently puts his family in danger. BoJack Horseman is a Netflix original series about a horse, BoJack, who is an alcoholic, drug-abusing, depressed former sitcom star having to live through life and learn to navigate the star-studded climate of Hollywood. These two, they aren't that similar. Mostly because they don't share a genre. Fantastic Mr. Fox is a family adventure. BoJack Horseman is a satirical comedy drama. What these two share is a medium. Medium is defined as an agency or means of doing something, and that is exactly what animation is. Animation is a way to tell a story. It's not a type of story in and of itself. But sharing a medium leads to some believing that movies like Despicable Me and Kubo and the Two Strings are in the same genre, but they're not. Sure, they're both animated, but unlike Furious 7 and G.I. Joe that belong in the same genre, they don't have much in common outside of animation. Also, because animation isn't a genre, it's totally not just for kids. BoJack Horseman, that I just mentioned, is one of my favorite TV shows. It's insanely dark and not targeted towards a young demographic in any way, shape, or form. So are projects like Robot Chicken, an adult-oriented comedy show, Sausage Party, a pretty funny, crass movie with a surprisingly insightful message about the role of religion in modern society. And South Park is a great, hilarious satire that's not at all intended for children. And that's not even close to all of them. There is a lot of animated content out there intended for mature audiences, and none of them are animated to appeal to children. They're animated because it's the best possible way to tell the stories they want to tell. Animation has long been associated with children's movies, and it's resulted in people accepting that style as the genre of animation. But I think we need to be reminded that animation can do anything. It can take us to bizarre worlds, introduce us to crazy, awesome characters, and get us to care about people we never saw ourselves caring about. It can create the images of our greatest dreams or bring our worst nightmares to the light. So I think it's time we stop limiting animation as being just another genre. How's it going? Thanks for watching. If you liked the video and want to see a video like it every Tuesday, you can subscribe. You can share it with a friend or family member if you think they would like it. And you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. And you can keep this video, keep it ready in case you get into an argument at Bojangles about animation.